All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm Laura Rogers, and this is Making the Most of Out-of-the-Box Approvals in SharePoint Online. This is a level 100 session, so I know they usually do more level 100s towards the beginning of the week, and then it gets higher in the numbers as you go. It gets harder as you go towards the end of the week, but as I was writing this deck, I had to remember that I did submit it as a level 100 session. So I do have some more complex things towards the end, but it is focused on people who potentially have never tried Flow, which is now called Power Automate. And so my slides still say Flow. I haven't updated them, but Power Automate. So we're going to be making the most of the out-of-the-box approvals. Workflows are everywhere in your organization. There are a lot of different ways people do workflows. Some people have pieces of paper that they carry from office to office. I still see that happening. They have Word documents that people fill out. They have PDFs. People want things assigned with Adobe eSign and other DocuSign, those types of products. And people have SharePoint lists that are just simple things that are forms that people fill out. So they're all over the place, and there are a lot of different ways that they can be achieved. So today we're going to be talking about, I'll do an introduction to this concept. We'll talk about just the simple out-of-the-box approvals and what they do. And then we'll talk about some common requirements, because usually just that little quick, easy approval that's out of the box doesn't cut it, and there are some common things that people like to be able to change and tweak in their approvals. And we'll talk about adding extras to that. So this is just an example of the out-of-the-box request sign-off flow that is in every list and library, that you can just select an item and select request sign-off. So you just pick one or more approvers and type a message and click run, and that is built in, and there's no changing what it does. And so what's included in this out-of-the-box approval? So the request sign-off action, our approval flow, is actually, it uses an action in Power Automate called approvals. And so this one action is what's behind the scenes for all this whole approval concept that they have. So we have what's built in, which you get automatically. You get interactive email. So you get this lovely email like the one on the screen that has the buttons in the email. This is actually called an adaptive card, where it makes the email interactive. And so they can click, once they click approve or reject, the little comments box pops out. And then they can type their reason, and they don't even have to go anywhere. They don't have to do anything extra. They just click submit right there in the email, and then the workflow moves on to whatever's next. So out of the box, you get these emails, you get parallel approvals. So when you use the approvals action and you put multiple people in that approval, who is the approver box, it's always just going to be parallel and go to all those people at the same time. It doesn't have an option to make it serial. The options that it has are just go with whatever the first thing is that someone does, like approve or reject, or wait for everyone to respond. So neither of those are serial versus parallel. So out of the box, you get parallel, and you get this cool mobile app integration and notifications. So encourage your end users to install the Flow, I guess it's called the Power Automate app now, on their mobile devices. And you'll actually get a mobile notification as long as you have your mobile notifications turned on. You'll also get a notification if you have something like an Apple Watch to let you know that you have something to take a look at and approve. And so they can do those approvals very easily with all that built-in, all these built-in concepts. You also have a dashboard on the Flow. It's flow.microsoft.com. I'm not sure if they changed that URL too. There's a whole approvals page in there that will show whoever the logged in user is. It shows them their own flows that are assigned to them and flows that they've assigned to other people. And so in this approvals interface, you can see approvals that you've received that are waiting for you, approvals that you sent, and just the whole history of your flows. And you get the exact same thing in the mobile app in the little approvals tab, and people can quickly take a look at it and approve and reject. So if you want this to be nice and easy for people so that they'll be able to quickly look at it and know whether they want to approve or reject it, you put as much information as you can in that little approval that you send them, as much information as you can about the thing that they're going to be approving. Okay, so when we go, instead of using the out-of-the-box request sign-off and we're building our own approvals, when we go into the interface in Flow, Power Automate, and we use the approvals action, then this is an action called Start and Wait for an Approval. And I choose the approval type. It's approve, reject, first to respond, or the other option is to wait for everyone to respond. You give your approval a name. You say who it's assigned to, which can be one or more people. And again, it goes to them all at the same time. And then you can put a link to the thing that is going to be approved, like the document or the list item. And then you have some extra settings, like you can assign who the requester is, because by default it used to always show the requester as being the person who built the flow. So you can actually put who the requester is here, and you can make that be dynamic data, like the person who triggered the flow in the first place. And then you can just say whether or not you want to email notifications and the ability for them to be able to reassign that to someone. So what happens after that? So still in the Flow interface, when you are building more actions after the approvals action, you have all this data. So the flow is actually the start and wait for an approval. The flow is actually just going to sit there, and it's running, and it's waiting. And it's going to sit there until the people have done their approvals, and then it's going to move to the next action. So after that approval has been done, then you'll have all this extra data about what happened. You'll have the date that the approval was completed. You'll have, of course, some of the details and the link and are things that you already know because you are the one who put them in there. And then the outcome is usually the most important thing. You also do have the verbiage of the comments that they might have made. But the outcome is going to be approve or reject. And that's going to be really important. That will let you know to decide what you want to do differently depending on if they approve or reject. And when you're building these, it's up to you. They're not going to automatically do anything based on the outcome. So if you have one approver, it's pretty simple. It goes to the approver. If they approve it, what do you want to happen? Like send an approval email. If they reject it, define what you want to happen, like sending them a rejection email. These are all things that you'll be building. But beyond the very simple just sending someone an email, these are going to be some of the common extras and common extra things that we like to be able to, concepts that we like to be able to build in beyond just that very simple out of the box that we get. So very common requirement is to be able to get the manager. Another one is that you can actually tie into the SharePoint content approval setting. We can do custom outcomes, means outcomes other than approve and reject. And we can do something like get the out of the office info about someone. And then, of course, serial approvals, that's a big one. I put that one last because that one's more complicated, and that's where we're going to get sort of more into the nitty-gritty. Serial is going to be, one after the other instead of it sending to everyone in parallel all at the same time. Okay, so to get the manager, there's an action. There are a set of actions in the category Office 365 users. And in that category, use the action called get manager. So that will just basically say get the manager of someone, and you just have to give it someone's name. You can give it someone's name dynamically from a people field in SharePoint, and any kind of people field, the created by person in SharePoint, or you could even just type someone's name in there. But it's going to go ahead and get that manager, and that is based on how accurate your Active Directory is. So it really helps when you want to be able to use this dynamic information in your flows to make sure that your Active Directory is accurate, it's that manager field. So if you've ever been into the Exchange admin interface in Office 365, it's that manager field that has to be accurate so that it'll know what your org is. All right, so now the next point was the flow and SharePoint content approval. So this is an example of a flow that's going to write to the content approval. So content approval is a setting. It's in a weird place in your lists and libraries. It's under versioning settings. But content approval is just on or off, and it's just very simple moderation. So the cool thing about it is that the item that hasn't, as soon as someone adds or edits something to that list or library, it is immediately pending, waiting to be approved or rejected. And no one else will see that file. So that's the cool built-in part of the content approval. No one else besides the person that's got higher permissions, that's an approver, and the person who submitted it will know that the file is there until it has been approved. So you can tap into that in Flow. So after your approval action happens, then you have to use this, the tricky part that's not obvious is you have to use this action to set the content approval, and you have to do it twice. So in the first set content approval, you have to choose action submit. And submit just has to be done before you can set it to whatever the actual outcome is, like approve or reject. So after you set it to submit, the key is it has this E tag thing, this very last one at the bottom of the screen, the E tag. That is going to be the data that you get from the set content approval to submit, that action above it. So these are both called set content approval, and I just rename them, and I rename them to submit or from outcome. So that's where I'm not even doing a branch or a condition. I'm not saying if it was approved, do this, if it wasn't, do that. I'm just basically saying it puts the outcome of the approval directly in there as what is the action that it's going to take, approve or reject. So that data, it will be the exact same word, like approve or reject, and it just ties all together. So then that just sets the SharePoint content approval. All right, then we have custom outcomes. This is pretty exciting. Have you all seen this before? It used to have a little premium word next to it. Have you noticed that it doesn't anymore? I'm so excited about this. I asked one of the Flow team, the Power Automate team yesterday, I asked Audrey Gordon, I said, I'm doing a presentation tomorrow, and I noticed in Flow that it doesn't say premium next to these anymore. And she said, you're right, they're not premium anymore. They're just in there. You know, they're just not an extra charge, basically. So this is exciting. I'm actually going to go back to some flows that I had done for some customers and use this, because now it's not an extra cost. It's just the same as the other. So we can do approve or reject. And then with custom responses, we can make the responses, choices that they have be whatever we want to define. So in the email, that little pretty automated email they get with the buttons in it, those buttons will say whatever you want them to say. So in this example, I'm showing some silly ones where it says okie dokie, nope, or maybe. And that's because you can type whatever you want here. So the custom responses are huge, and not having to pay extra for them is huge. Anybody think that's exciting? I do. I'm a nerd. Woohoo! All right, so another little cool built-in thing that we can do with in relation to approvals is we can go see if someone's out of the office or not. So we can do something with that data. There's an action called Get Mail Tips for a Mailbox, and you just tell it whose mailbox. So you can say, go get my manager, and then go get the mail tips for their mailbox to see if they're out of the office or not. And then therefore you'll have your answer. You can do something different. You can say, if they're out of the office, then maybe I want to assign the approval to someone else. And you can go different ways in your flow based on that. In this example, I've just gotten the person's manager, and that's why it's that little orange icon. So the next thing you're going to do is use a condition that checks to see if their automatic replies message is empty or not, basically. It's not as straightforward as are they out of the office? It's, is this automatic replies message empty or not? But that's a great little tidbit to be able to do. All right, just real quick, level set here on parallel versus serial approvals. Parallel is you start the workflow and the approval email goes to all the approvers at the same time. And serial is you start the workflow, it goes to the first approver, and then if they approve, it goes to the next approver. If they approve, it goes to the last one. That's the typical. So in the 10, 12, however many years I've been doing these, usually people like to do serial approvals in my experience. That's just the majority of them. So that's why it's helpful to be able to understand how to build serial approvals in when it doesn't do them out of the box. All right, so here's going to be just a simple, if we had 2 tiers of approval, I kind of mapped it out so you can visually see what I'm referring to. So you have something going to approver 1. Do you like this? Do you approve or reject it? If they reject, then someone gets a rejection email. And if they approve, then it goes to approver 2. And then if approver 2 approves it, an approval email goes out. They reject it, a rejection email goes out. So this is just, and you could, if you wanted to, you could build further branches with different approvals. But this is actually 2 different approval actions. So up at the top, the little blue box that says approver 1, that's an approval action in flow. And then the approver 2 one, that's another one. So you're using separate actions to be able to have it go sort of down the chain. And it depends on how dynamic you need your flow to be as far as having to build that whole structure out or not. So here's an example of an actual flow. When an item is created, it goes to approver 1. And I don't have all these boxes expanded out. I wanted to be able to fit on the screen. But then it looks to see outcome is equal to approve. So that's how you can tell if they approve or reject or not. You're looking at the outcome. If outcome is equal to approve, it goes to approval 2. If not, it sends a rejection email to the person who initiated it. And then it's so on, it goes to the second approver, and if outcome is equal to approve, approval email, otherwise rejection. So this is an actual flow demonstrating what I had on the previous slide. So this is the approver 1 expanded out so that you can see more details about what I'm sending the approver. I've got the approval type, it's just approve, reject, first to respond, and I'm just sending it to one person, the manager, and saying, please approve this. So notice I'm combining dynamic data with some text in here, and there's actually a little web page that they have that tells you what your syntax is that you can use. So this whole details box, before you start typing in it, it has a URL in there that it's aka.ms something, and it's a whole web page that tells you the syntax to use, like I'm using with all the little pipe symbols here. So I'm giving them as much information as I can so that when that approver receives the email, they'll have all the data there. I'm not making them have to go click and look at the travel request. So it depends on what it is and how much data you have as far as if you need them to just go look at the item or just see everything they need right there in the approval. So then I'm sending them a link to the item, and I'm basically letting it send them notifications. And this is a SharePoint column, in this case, called Manager Email. All right, so then we start getting to, that example just had one person, just that person's name as the first approval, and then another specific SharePoint column as the second approval. But what if you need to have dynamic multiple approvals? Now this is where this session goes a little bit from level 100 and beyond. So this is where it honestly just gets tricky. So who are the dynamic multiple approvers? Is it my manager? Is it my manager's manager? Is it a whole group of people? What kind of group of people is it, like an Office 365 group? Do you want the person to be able to manually select each approver? Is it serial or parallel? And do you need to use a routing table? A routing table is, it sounds like a complicated term, but it's usually where I create a SharePoint list and I call it something like approvers. And I'll just say, you know, maybe the approvers need to be defined by department. So if it's IT, marketing, accounting, whatever the list of departments are, and you've got a people column that just says who the approver needs to be for this particular approval for that department. So that's where you're not looking at dynamic information from Active Directory, you're just defining it in a specific list. So these are a lot of different ways people like to use the lists of people to be able to define who the approvers are. Now, my question is, what is your most common thing that you do? Do you like it to be hard-coded in there where it's who the approvers are automatically built in, or do you want the person kicking off the approval to be the one selecting the approvers? Which is the most common? So the first one is the person manually selecting the approvers. Nobody. What about automatically, one person automatically just having it built in? That's the kind I like too. So more people like the automatically built in people. So that's the kind I like. I don't want them to have to think about it. I don't want to have to worry about if someone puts the wrong person as an approver and having to logically deal with what you would do in that situation. So I just like it to be automatically built in. And that's my common experience. So who are the approvers? So this is where it starts getting tricky when you want to assign an approval to multiple people. So again, my manager, a group, manually select, serial or parallel, routing table, and then whoever that is going to go into that assign to little box there, a bunch of people. so that's where it you end up with loops appearing. Has anybody seen that happen, where you just all of a sudden a loop just popped up and you didn't really mean for there to be one, and you have to deal with this list of people and how you want the flow to go to them. Beware the loop. So loops will automatically appear when needed. They know when they're needed, and one example of something that will cause a loop is when you use a multiple person field or a list of things. So in this example, in this screenshot, I have an Office 365 group. So when I take this Office 365 group and I have the list of who all the people are in it, and this is just an Office 365 group action called list group members. So I get this whole list of people, I want them to be the approvers, and as soon as I put them the mail, basically the mail is going to be the email address of who that is, notice this loop appears, and it just wraps around my approvals. So then, when that happens, you can see I'm hovering over it, and it's showing that that's for each approver. So then what it's going to do now in this loop is for each approval, for each person, it's going to start an approval process. And it's going to do those one by one. And it's just going to go through every single one of them in a loop, and one after the other. There are some concurrency settings you can do when you go to the settings of that loop to define how many we will go to at the same time. But the problem with it just dumping this long list of people into a loop is that you do have a serial approval, but it's just going to go to everyone no matter what. It's not going to look to see if they approved or not. It doesn't care. It's just looping through all the people's names. So that's where, it starts getting really tricky. So dynamic multiple approvers, serial. So this is a SharePoint person column. And when a SharePoint person comes, pay attention to this setting. So when you are in SharePoint, I'm a SharePoint person. That is my sort of my home product, and I use Flow on SharePoint. In case that's not clear, I use SharePoint a lot. So in SharePoint, pay attention to this setting. So when you're creating your list and library columns, where it says allow multiple selections for a person field. If you are allowing multiple selections, you have a yes there, and you use that field in a flow, that will cause a loop, because then it thinks there will be multiple people that it needs to loop through. If your person field has allow multiple selections to no, it will just work fine. It will just, it won't dump it into a loop. It'll just go one time. It will know. So just kind of pay attention to whether you really do want to have multiple approvers in that field. All right, let's see. So again, what's wrong here is basically what about the outcomes? It's not going to stop if it's rejected. It's just going through everyone no matter what. Now, if you want that, if that is your business requirement for it to go through everyone in order and let them all approve or reject, no matter if the person before them approved or rejected, then that's for you. So looping on approvers in order. So this is an interesting example. So what we're going to do is this is how we can make it only loop if the person before has approved it. So it's a little more advanced. It's not level 100 because I'm dealing with a variable here. So I'm initiating a variable. In Flow, we have to initiate a variable if we ever want to use a variable anywhere in the flow. It just has to be initiated and defined as to what it's called and what type it is just at the very beginning of the flow. So that's why that's at the top. So when an item is created, I'm going to create this variable called var_outcome. And then I'm letting it loop through my approvers. So I even have a field that says approvers in order. That's the name of my SharePoint column. And then, so it is doing a loop, but it's looking to see if the var_outcome is not equal to reject. So as long as that variable is not equal to reject, on the first one, it's not going to be equal to anything. It'll just be empty. Then it does the approval action, that little light purple, blurple, whatever that is, the different color that's not the purple variable one. The one where it says start and wait for an approval. So that will wait for the first person. And once that first person in that list of people does their approval, then it moves on. And then it goes to the set variable outcome. And that is going to actually set that string variable to be the word approve or reject or whatever that person decided. So then it gets to the end of the loop. And once it gets to the end of the loop, it starts over at the top. And then it looks again to see if the var_outcome is not equal to reject. So then it goes to the next person if the person approved it. And so that's a very simple, pretty simple way of making sure that your flow will only move on to the next person if in this list of people, if the person before didn't reject it. And then, of course, you could just decide define what you want to happen if they reject it in the if no red box. You could put a rejection email or whatever different things you want to happen in that situation. But that's going to be the more dynamic one approver after the other situation. All right, let's see. Let's do a demo. Let me flip it over here. Okay, I have a document library in SharePoint, and we'll go to the library settings, and I'll go ahead and create a column and call it approvers. And I will make it a person or group. And then first I'm going to leave allow multiple selections to no. And click OK. And I do need to go ahead and open my little test account email in here so we can try this out. Okay, and then I've created this column called approvers, and I already created, let me go ahead and refresh this page. I already went ahead and created a flow that all it has in it so far is the trigger for a selected file in this library here, this shared documents library. So it's going to be triggered manually when I select a file. I can trigger it. And then I can send a message to the approver if I want to. Okay, so then it's the tricky thing about getting the for a selected file action is that you would think that it would give you back all the metadata about that file that you just selected, just all the regular metadata created by, modified by, any metadata columns, but it doesn't. So the next action you have to do is to get the file properties. So that get file properties will actually give me the metadata that I need. So then I'll go ahead and do an approvals. And we're going to start pretty simple and then build upon it. So here's my approvals action. Oops. I hate it when it does that. They're all still appearing on the screen. And if I click too fast, it selects the wrong one. There we go. Start and wait for an approval. And I'll just say approve, reject, first to respond. And then I have, okay, what's the title of my approval? So I can say I want the title of my approval to be approve and put the name of the file. So I'll just pick the name here. I'll go ahead and just type name. And this gives me the name of the file. So it's dynamic. And then assign to, this is, since it's a people field, it knows this is the people field I created, so it knows that it put the word email on the end of it to let me know that I'm sending it to this person's email address. And then what additional information do I want to send them? Approve this. I'm just going to keep this pretty simple. And then the item link, there's actually a field in here that is the link to the item. And if it's a list item, it will be the view form of the list. But if it's a document, it will just open the document. And the description, I'll just put file name with extension there. So it's a little bit different than the name. The name is more of a display name. And then I can save that just real quick. And then see from here, you don't really, let me go ahead and add the requester again. So I'll just put the requester is going to be the person who, see way down here at the bottom right, it won't let me scroll down any further, but I have user email. And that's the person who actually triggered the flow. Notice that it doesn't automatically do anything depending on if I approve or reject. So I would actually have to go build in a condition to say if my outcome, let's see, outcome is equal to approve, etc. And then so if it is equal to approve, what actions do I want to take? Otherwise, do I want to send emails, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this really quick and trigger it, and then we'll change the SharePoint field to allow multiple people and show what that looks like. All right, so I'll go ahead and go to SharePoint and trigger that on just this first item here. Come on, there it is. And since I put the inputs, then you don't have to put inputs for people to type something additional on this screen. This is for you. And I could actually put who I want the approvers to be as the in one of those input fields. So if I had a situation where I wanted them to pick who the approvers are. So now it went ahead and started my flow. And look at that, it failed. I don't have anybody in that column. So that's going to be, so think about that. That's going to be a case where you'd probably want that to be required field if you wanted that flow to not error out. So I'll go ahead and fill that in really quick. I'll put myself. Pretty excited about the updates they made to Quick Edit, by the way, with the dynamic stuff. It's pretty neat with the formatting. Okay, so what I can do is I can just go try this again. That's what I really love about Flow, because with the old SharePoint Designer workflows, if you wanted to re-trigger a workflow, you had to just keep adding files to library or triggering it from the library. And in Flow, you can run tests and you can resubmit on the same item without having to re-trigger it in SharePoint. So I just re-triggered the flow on the same item. And now it's waiting. So it's just waiting for me to approve it. So let's see. There it is. So here it's telling me the file that I need to approve, and the adaptive card is opening up here. Wow, that's a little ugly. That doesn't look as slick as it usually looks. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. So I approve it. And then so it's taking me to this whole other window now it's taking me to the approval section over in Power Automate and taking me to the window with all the information about this approval, and I can make my comment in here. And this is, again, the same interface you get in the app, in the Flow app that I was talking about. So now my approval went, and now when I go to my run history, I can see it live, then it keeps going once I've finished the approval. So now let's go over to, go out of that flow and go to SharePoint and go to my library settings and that people column. Allow multiple, yes. Okay, so then I'm allowing multiple people, and I'll go ahead and let's see what it does now. I have to go edit the flow again. It keeps opening more windows for me. That's fun. Now I'm going to just remove this and add it back. And look at that. So there's my loop. So now for each approver, it's going to do a separate approval action. And then that's where you'd want to do the thing that I showed in the slide, where you have it looking to determine what the outcome was. Now, what if you actually do want it to go to multiple people and have the first to respond and have all of their names be in that one action? There is a way to do that. So I'll go ahead and demo that instead of demoing the exact same thing that I just showed you in the slide. So I'll demo a way to go ahead and take all those people's names and put them in this one field together. So I'm going to take this, and to get rid of my loop, which I have to do all the time if I didn't mean for it to be a loop, whatever field caused the loop to appear, I just remove what I just added, and then I can take it and drag it back out of the loop and then delete the loop. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to go ahead and add a variable. So set variable, and then this is going to be I'll call it, not set variable, initialize variable. Let's see, var approvers. And it will be a string. Okay, so now it's initialized, and then you try to get in the habit of renaming it like this, just for your own sanity. And then I'll go ahead and when I start and wait for the approval, I want all their names to be together here. So what I'm going to do is so after I get all the properties of this file so that I have the metadata, I'll go set my variable. Oh, you know what? I need to make it it's a string. Okay, that's what I meant. All right, string, and set I'm going to append to string variable. I'm not just going to set the variable. Append means I'm going to add them and add each person's email address to one big long string. So I'm going to append to my string variable. So that is my var approvers. And then I take that approvers field from SharePoint, approvers email, and that puts it in a loop, which is fine. So now in this loop, for each person, as it iterates through each person, it's going to put them all together in a string. So I want to put the person's name and make sure it's got their email here, approver's email. I've seen this do this a little bit lately where it puts it in a loop and then the field disappears. So you do need to put a semicolon in between them, because in that approver's box over in the approval action, it does need to have them semicolon separated. So now I'll go down here and just plot my variable in here. So now it will go to all those people at the same time. All right, so let's go ahead and watch that in action. So I'll go back over to my list and I'm going to put multiple people in this next one. Put myself and my little test account, Billy Bob, and save it. It's a little slow today. I think everybody's hitting SharePoint after learning all these exciting things at the conference, and so it's slow. All right, now we'll go ahead and run it on this item. And then that message, I didn't actually put the message that I'm typing in the approval action, which would help, because they're not going to see it if I don't do that. All right, so now it is running. So I'll refresh this. Okay, so this is the cool thing, is that now we can go look at what it did. So each person, so this is the first person it got to. You can see that it's got my test email address here. And then when I hit next, it's got that Billy email address. So that it's appending them to the variable, and then when it starts the approval, it sends it to both. So this approval, I probably don't need to waste time logging in as Billy and looking at his email, but this approval just went to both of us at the same time, because so if I had let it put us in a loop, it would have gone to us one after the other. But if you do want people to all get it at the same time that are a long list of people from an Office 365 group or a people field, then it helps to string them together like this. So let's see. I'll go ahead and flip back over. That's my demo. All right, so this is, and just one more, more advanced tip, is to let SharePoint know what's going on every time something happens in your flow. So this is the same concept, the flow that I've been talking about, but in between every step, I'm doing an update action, update in SharePoint. And it's updating the file, and it's, you can create a column called status. And you're updating the status to say it's at the first approver approved, second approver. So you can update and let SharePoint know in between. So that's just a little bit more advanced tip, as you're just adding a bunch of update actions in all the places in your flow. And then SharePoint will have version history, and you'll be able to know what happened when. All right, so I demoed the way that you can let it do serial approvals and let it actually determine whether it's approve or reject before it goes to the next person. I showed you that in the slides. Then I showed you how you can take a list of multiple people and put them into a string variable so that they are all together in that approver box. And then I showed you this example of how you can build the flow and write back to SharePoint in between all of them. So that actually wraps it up for today. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Do you all have any questions? I do have T-shirts up here. Oh, yes.
As far as SharePoint, this might be a little bit outside what you're talking about, but it's related because I see the Power Apps and Flow. As far as SharePoint goes with Teams, can you create, I see the need where you have to create SharePoint sites to aggregate similar information flow with Power Apps. But you want to share it with your team, but filter. So bring that SharePoint list in. Do you know if you can bring like a SharePoint list into a team and filter it based on a call?
Oh, that's a great question. But it's unrelated to approvals, but can you bring a SharePoint list into a team? Yes, but filter it automatically. You'd probably just be using regular old view filtering that where you could dynamically look at who's logged in. But yeah. Well, yeah, no, I don't think it has that. No, not that I know of. Yes.
Is there an option to have selections of accept because of selection of things, because it's okay based on a policy, or rejected because select this?
Yeah, he said, is there an option to basically have it dynamically, you walked up to the microphone, thanks, I didn't even notice it, to have it dynamically do something depend on other values and metadata?
So the adaptive power itself, if I say reject, can I have a selection of redo button, say?
Oh, that would be modifying the adaptive card. If you actually wanted the adaptive card itself to give them more choices, then you'd be developing. Then you'd need to write an adaptive card. I don't know how to do that. Yes.
If you have, for example, 3 approvers, can you see in SharePoint which of the approvers already has approved?
Can you see, if you have a few approvers, can you see in SharePoint which has already approved? You can write back to SharePoint. You can create extra columns, and you can write anything you want back to that list and use the update action. And so you could do that inside of the loop when it's doing the thing with the variable. You can do that inside of the loop and have it keep writing back. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think, yeah, back there.
If it's rejected, is there a way for it to loop back to the original person who initiated it and say this is what you need to fill out and resubmit it without having them redo?
Ooh, that's a great question. If it's rejected, send it back to the initiator and have them have to refill it out. I wouldn't try and keep that all in the same flow. I would have it do something like send the initiator a link directly to that item and have a message to them saying what they need to go do, and then they'd have to re-trigger a flow instead of trying to have like all this complexity shoved into one flow. Yeah. I think that we have to wrap it. I don't know if they're going to kick me out. Let's see. One more? She said, does Flow replace the out-of-the-box SharePoint Designer workflows? No? Oh, yes, definitely. Flow replaces, and those are inherently SharePoint Designer, and those are all based on old stuff like InfoPath. So yeah, this is what you'd use instead of those. Yes, you have to redesign them all. You have before 2026 to do that. Thanks, everybody, for coming. I have T-shirts up here.